simplest way of meditation, I would say, is meditate on the breath. It doesn't require you to know anything, memorize anything. But I'm actually also a proponent of different types of meditation. I mean, personally, I practice different types. Meaning, my core meditation is a meditation on the breath with the chanting of a mantra. I happen to have a very overactive mind. My mind can watch my breath and run wild at the same time. And so, with the mantra and the breath, it's enough to keep my mind occupied. My mind cannot run wild if it's actually chanting my mantra and connected to my breath at the same time. But I also sometimes practice other types of meditation that are more, you could call Gyan Yoga types of practice. It's not my everyday thing. I'm much more of a Bhakti Yoga person by an everyday practice. But I'll sometimes bring in a practice of just meditating on, who am I? Or meditating on, I am the soul. What does that mean? Not in an analytic, I have to write an article on what is the soul, but just allowing the question to percolate. Let the answers be nonverbal, only the question is verbal. So the question comes in verbally, who am I? Who am I? Or I am the soul, whatever it is. And my instinct, because I'm academic, because I'm verbal, because I've got an overactive mind, is to start, yeah, I know I'm the soul because blah, 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 and not to go there. We're not writing articles, we're not giving lectures, we're not analyzing, we're not justifying. But can my being experience the answer in a nonverbal way? And that's a really beautiful and fun practice of meditation also. It takes me into a very different place. So these are all practices that are actually quite easy. None of them requires any special skill. I also do a lot of japa. Prior to meditation, during meditation, it brings the mind still. I would say those for me are the easiest way. But, you know, if we went around the room and we said, what's the easiest yoga asana? Probably as many people as are sitting here, we'd have as many different answers. You know, for people who are young and limber and no knee issues, you know, sit in Padmasana. I used to sit in Padmasana in kindergarten. I had no idea it was called Padmasana. We thought it was really fun. We'd fold up our legs and walk on our knees and, you know, I didn't know yoga. I don't even remember learning that. But at that age, I would have said, oh yeah, that's the easiest thing to do. We used to do it in school auditoriums. You take people, as we age, the posture that's easier for us is going to become a different one. But the point being, there's no right answer. There is no one easiest yoga posture other than, you know, Shavasana. But if you've got a back issue, if you've got a certain back pain, lying flat on your back in Shavasana is not an easy asana. And actually, they've got to bring a chair, and you've got to put your knees up on the chair because the back can't relax without it. So even Shavasana is not easy for people with certain back issues. So just as there's no one easiest or right or best yoga asana, there's also no one right or easiest meditation. Whatever works for you. My favorite story on this subject is a story of 3 guys who are stranded on an island, And naturally they're panicked because they're stranded on an island. And they pray and pray and pray for God to save them. And one day they wake up and there's this canoe on the shore. And they're ecstatic, and they get in the canoe and they row the canoe back to the mainland, and they're thrilled, we've been saved. A couple of weeks later, someone sees them walking through the marketplace in a single file line, and they're carrying this canoe on their heads. And the person asks them, "Why are you carrying that canoe on your head?" And they say, "Oh my God, this canoe, it saved our life. We were stranded on the island, and this canoe is our best friend. It got us across." And the person said, "Well, that's great, but why are you carrying it on your head in the market?" And again they said, "God, this canoe, it saved our life. It's our best friend. We were stranded." Now, you understand, the canoe was a tool to get them across the water. It didn't actually matter what it was. It could have been a yacht. It could have been a raft. It could have been jet skis. It could have been anything. All that mattered is that they were able to use it to get across the water. And that's what meditation is. It's not about the technique. The canoe served its purpose. It brought them there. Now they've actually handicapped themselves by holding on with this death grip to the canoe. Because obviously you cannot move through the world very well if you've got a canoe on your head. In the same way, when we meditate, it takes us across the water. Once you reach where you're going, because there comes a place when you're meditating where whatever the technique is, it falls. And there's a point I begin my breath, my mantra, and there comes a place where there is no breath. The mantra is kind of chanting itself. And in that place, if I tell myself, "Oh wait, I've lost the technique. Oh wait, my breath. Oh wait, my mantra," it pulls me out of the meditation. In the same way that holding the canoe on their heads pulls them out of their ability to be where they've arrived. So use it as a tool, whatever technique you use, with the awareness that all that needs to happen is it needs to get me there. And when I'm there, that's the point.